Welcome back. I'm Tedward. Happy New Year. And today, thanks to Boston Motorsports in Brighton, Massachusetts, we're driving a 2021 Mercedes-AMG GT53. This is kind of a convoluted car in a lot of ways, but it's also really enjoyable to drive. But the powertrain is something really strange and special. It's got an inline 3-liter 6-cylinder. Then it's got a turbocharger, an electronic supercharger, and a 48-volt mild hybrid system. So it has all of the things going for it to make it a fast, smooth, and somewhat efficient AMG. We'll find out if Mercedes hits the mark on this one. It's already a strange car because the AMG GT, as you know, is nearly a supercar. It's a 911 competitor, really. And this is clearly not a 911 or a supercar, although it is the 4-door hatchback version of the 2-door, 2-seat supercar. It's very strange. And what I like about this car is that it's not too heavily spec'd. We have 19-inch wheels on this car, which are actually small for the vehicle. I think you can get them up to 21s, and that means it's got a 255 section up front and a 285 section tire in the rear. So you can go a little wider on this, but this doesn't have that. Now, to prove to you that it's sporty, it's got frameless windows, yes, and this is not a CLS. It's a little more driver focused and oriented. It's got these really crazy side bolsters on the seats. The seats are very supportive, and I love it. I know some people hate this when people leave this plastic on metal things. So whoever owned this car for like 6,000 miles never took this off, but did take it off on that side. So this is great because I'm totally the guy that would have left this there. I know a lot of you guys hate this, especially when they're on the accelerator pedals. First things first though, can you actually use it as a 4-seater? The roofline of this hatchback does come down quite far. I'm fine, actually. I'm 5'9" and I'm not in danger of hitting my head on the roof. So this is actually just fine. And I love the way that these rear seats just sink in. There's quite a lot of support. You can tell it's designed to not let people slide around while you're having a good time as a driver. But oddly enough, there is no center armrest, and there's just a little pad for your phones and some charging ports. So you're good to go back here. Very simple stuff. But up front, you start to see all the styling cues this is taking from the AMG GT with the center console and the steering wheel. It's actually very driver oriented and fairly elegant at the same time. Back here, if we open this up, we've got loads of space. It is a hatchback. This is very cool to me because this gives you a lot of options for bringing bikes or skis or all of the things. Because having practicality with your fun daily driver is great, especially when you need to transport wheels and stuff. If you've got 2 sets of wheels, you're throwing on your winters, all this stuff. They're in different locations. It's nice to be able to throw them back here. The rear fascia is pretty aggressive. We've got the optional AMG Sports exhaust and the little diffuser, which is great. But let's take a look under the hood. Knowing that this has such an intensely complicated powertrain, you'd think this is going to look absolutely bananas under the hood, but it's very normal looking because they've covered it all up with plastic. And I think it's funny that they've made the Mercedes and AMG totally separate under here, as if they were like really not associated with each other. Like this looks like a divorced parent happening under here. But I'm really interested to see how they married up this powertrain with the driving experience. So let's jump in and take it for a drive. Foot on the brake, push to start. Very smooth engine, and I love inline 6s for that reason. Inline 6s are always buttery smooth, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Jag E-Type so much, is that smooth powertrain. Down here, we've got all of our controls, so we can switch it into Sport, Sport Plus, our drive modes, our suspension modes, our traction modes, obviously our gear selector, and over here we can select our sports exhaust on or off. Listen to it quiet. Let's put it back to comfort mode. There's quiet. There's sport, quiet, sport. Just a hint, it's nothing crazy. And then here we've got our spoiler, which goes up on the hatch. She's up to temp, so we can give her a little rev. Let's do it in normal mode. Nothing outrageous. Throw it in sport mode. Pop it and drive, and away we go. Let's see how she gets off the line. So we'll come to a complete stop in a second here. We've got a 9-speed automatic gearbox. We've got 429 horsepower. We've got all kinds of crazy trickery from our turbo and supercharger and the electric assist. So we're just gonna mat it. She gets out of the hole pretty quick. It's not frightening speed, but it's very controlled. So if you're looking for that like alarming, twitchy, crazy AMG vibe, I don't think you're gonna quite find it with this 53, but it is not slow, and I love exhaust. Inline sixes always make me happy. See how she gets on the on-ramp. It's a tight one. I'm going to tuck this nose in. It's incredible how early you can get on power with this 4MATIC system. It's a nice all-wheel drive system for performance driving. And I'm just really surprised at how nimble this thing feels given its size. It is very imposing when you see it parked. It's a large vehicle, but it tucks in really nicely. And this isn't even the biggest tire size you can get on it. So there is more grip available, and it's pretty cold today. We're 26 degrees Fahrenheit. So out here on the highway, 9th gear, let's go to comfort mode, chill out for a bit before we get on some back roads. We're at like 1600 RPM at 70 miles an hour. I don't know that I would say this is going to be a fuel sipper. It's still pulling 4,500 pounds of car, and you've got all this convoluted stuff happening, but with the mild hybrid system, it's probably giving you a little better than you would on an AMG GT 63. You can see that boost goes up to max when I get into the throttle a little bit, and it happens very quickly. Now, I'm not positive, but I would assume that that's probably the electric supercharger spooling up to try to torque fill for any turbo lag that may occur. Most of this is not felt by the driver, and I think that's the intention, but I almost want something more involved. Like, I almost want to feel all of the convoluted insanity going on with this car, because I've got a supercharger, a turbocharger, and a mild hybrid system. I want to feel it, and I don't, which is a bit of a letdown because we've only got 429 horsepower. I understand that they're trying to gain efficiency from this, but you're really only going to get like 21 miles per gallon combined out of that. So it's not like you're getting some amazing result. Like, give me some power. Give me the thing that it's good. It's good. There's just, I want like the payoff. I want the crazy benefit for all this stuff, and I don't really feel it. No one's behind us. Let's have a little brake check. Nice and stable, nice and smooth, really confidence inspiring. That's what you'll want in your sports sedan or sports hatchback, whatever you want to call it. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Let's see how she does up the hill. What a joy. Like, what a lovely sound, and what a proper amount of power. We don't need 500, 600, 700 horsepower. Exhaust crackles and pops. Let's see how it cruises around town. So let's get out of Sport Plus. I'm going to jump down to comfort mode. And I'm getting what I expected. This is definitely not going to be your S-Class ride, but you feel what you want in the road, and it soaks up most of what you don't. So it's not a violent, aggressive thing where the whole dash is rattling, but you definitely get the sensation that you're in a sports car. The difference being, though, that you're set up a bit higher than you are in an AMG GT. So don't expect to jump out of your two-door GT and get into this and have the same driving experience. The thing that is nice, though, is that we've got great supportive seats in the right place in the cabin. So I am sat nice and low. I feel like the steering wheel is right at eye level, or just a little bit below where I'd like it to be. You can tell we're charging on light brake application. And the transition from charging to actual calipers being engaged and really grabbing onto those rotors is fairly seamless. It's not like Porsche has not been doing a phenomenal job about this. I think the Taycan has some of the weirdest brakes out there. It's really important that you get that right. What do we have here? Oh, I can feel the transition. I just felt the transition in the pedal This is new. This is new for me. Even as a rural boy growing up in rural towns, I don't think I've ever been blocked by stump grinding in the middle of the road before. Thank you, sir. What a legend. You are the best. I think I can make that. Thank you. Off the line. Lately for me, the hardest thing about modern cars, new cars, is finding an enjoyable driving experience in the sense that it's comfortable and modern and safe, but also that I want to get behind the wheel and drive it. And oddly enough, I always thought BMW would be the company that did this best, but really I think Mercedes has been killing it. I mean, most of their cars I just want to keep driving. I want to keep pushing a little harder. I want to keep playing with it. Obviously, Porsches are going to provide the same entertainment, but this is capable. This really lets you get into it and enjoy driving. This is genuinely a capable sports car. Like, you can go very, very, very quickly. Maybe not your track day toy, but you could, if you decided, I just want to take all my cars out to the track and see what they're like. Like, you could have a great time in this. Final thoughts on the AMG GT53. It's an interesting thing because it's a phenomenally capable chassis. There's great feel, but just enough luxury in it that you don't feel like you're annoyed by the road and the world around you. It's insulated just enough. The powertrain is so strange in this particular variant just because it's so complicated. You've got a turbocharger, a supercharger, a mild hybrid system. But if I gave you this car without telling you that, I think you would just assume it was an inline six with a turbo. I don't think you would notice the other trickery that's going on with this car. And for good or bad, that's where we're at. I mean, I almost want it to be a little more ridiculous because of all its tech, but I understand why it's not. I understand why each thing feeds the next. So even though this isn't the fastest or the most powerful variant, I do think it's kind of the most interesting car they make because it has such a strange setup. And I gotta give them credit for making this work and making it work like seamlessly. For some, this AMG may lack the lunacy that's required for that AMG badge, but honestly, I find it kind of refreshing and refined. So I'm gonna go bring this back to Boston Motorsports. I have mixed feelings about it. I want a little more theater from the complicated powertrain, but I also respect the fact that you almost don't notice it's there. So thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. Steering rack is nice and fast too. That's good. Oh, there's our green friend. Cute.